everyone, Jeff with the Green Review. These are aloe plants. Which one is the question? There are between 200 and 500 species, plus a lot of hybrids and cultivars within those species. Depending on which botanist you talk to, there's so many different varieties. Now, these were labeled Aloe Hedgehog. So without a species name, they were just labeled with a cultivar name. Now, if you look up Aloe Hedgehog, you'll find that the flowers on these are most of the matching, depending on which website you're at. The leaves are mostly not matching. The hedgehog variety is supposed to have leaves that curve inward, and that the backs of the leaves have lots of bumps and spines on them, and these don't. These plants look a lot more like aloe vera. And the flowers on a lot of the aloes, because there's so many different varieties and because they've been used for so long, can be yellow, orange, or red. These are kind of a pale orange, not very attractive, which might be because this is December when they're blooming, and so maybe they're not getting in the full sun, and so maybe they're not fully colored. So it's hard to know. The funny thing about the name aloe vera is that the vera stands for true and genuine. And because it has been used for over 6,000 years around the world medicinally and is now found in wild populations all over the world, it's really hard to know whether you really truly have aloe vera. So it's a very confusing group of plants. Now, a lot of people want to grow aloe vera for medicinal uses because it might be effective on psoriasis and minor burns and abrasions. It has the gel and on the inside has been used as a laxative, and in 2002 the United States Food and Drug Administration outlawed that use because it had some problems. There's also a chemical called aloe, which is yellow sap that can come off the leaves, and that is dangerous and can cause cancer. So there's a lot of problems there. Now, the gel on the inside of these succulent leaves, where the water is stored so that it can go through the dry periods, might lower the blood sugar levels in diabetics. Before you ever even try something like this, talk to your doctor. You really need to do that first. Now, even on the ointments, you'll see aloe vera listed on lotions and cosmetics and all kinds of things. And that's just so that you can, I got aloe vera. But it might be as low as 0.5% to as much as 70% aloe vera in the product. So you really don't know what you're getting a lot of times. And so it's, again, something you really need to pay attention to. You can find aloe vera for sale in the stores in little half-gallon jugs. But again, you really need to look at some doctor's advice before you start using it for anything. It's not something you want to fool around with. It can cause serious problems. You can be allergic to the juice. If you're allergic to garlic, onions, or tulips, you might be allergic to aloe. So if you decide you want to grow a plant just in case of a burn, you may want to take a leaf off when you get it, do a little sample and test to see if you're allergic to it, because you don't want to find out you're allergic to it when you're applying it to a burn or a rash. If you decide to grow it, aloes are, in general, out of all those hundreds of species, mostly short-stemmed and with leaves growing around in a circle. Most of them will send out offsets, which are sometimes called pups, and they will grow along the outer edges of where the main plant is, and they can be cut off and let dry for a day or so they kind of scab over on the wounded part, and then they can be planted. There are a few varieties of aloe that grow in South Africa in a tree shape with trunks and branches, but for the most part, when people hear the word aloe, they're going to think of a low, small plant like this. Now, the flower stalks can grow up several feet, and like I said, can be yellow, orange, and red, and can be very brightly attractive. So if you want to grow them for the flowers, which might attract hummingbirds in North or South America, where the hummingbirds are native, then you really need to buy them in bloom so that you can make sure you get one with good color, because these, not so much. Because they are native to dry areas, that's where we would grow them in the United States. We would grow them in warm areas, zones 9 through 11, and they really do like hot, dry weather and good drainage. So if you are going to plant them outside, even if you're in a warm area, you do need to make sure that it's a sandy or gravelly soil so that it can drain. If you're going to grow them in pots, Clay pots are better than coated ceramic or plastic like these two. A concrete urn kind of pot is a good thing, because those clay pots and concrete pots let the water go out through the sides, and so keeps the roots from getting overwatered. In the wintertime, even indoors, you may not even have to water them. If they're not getting that much light, you can let them go dormant for quite a while before you need to water them. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video on aloes. Because you're so interested in plants, I'm going to give you $30 off the price of the Greener View Gardening book. This book was written for you, and you will learn a lot about plants by reading it. Use the discount code ALOE until the last day of February 2023. Click on the Greener View link in the description below. I release a new gardening video every Friday at noon. The videos fit into the playlists that follow the chapters of the Greener View Gardening book. Every Friday in February of 2023, the videos will be about taking care of different houseplants. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss a single new video. If you really like plants, check out the playlists to learn a lot more about plants. Here's a link to the rubber tree plant video, and here's a link to subscribe. Thanks for watching.